All right, guys, KC Jilly at the Secret Garden, July 1st update. So, I'm gonna start at the greenhouse because it's the most pitiful thing right now. But don't give up hope. Let me show you what's coming afterwards. All right, let's go on in there and see. You can see my pile here, one of the many that has come out of there. There is another pile over there. All my maters got chopped. It's too dang hot. But my bell peppers, I picked 3 big ones off of this sucker. Took them home and made fajitas. And man, it was good. Can y'all see how loaded this dude is? So good, so full. It's taking everything, keeps coming down to the ground. I can't hardly keep the dang thing standing up. But this bell pepper has done really good here. That is a California Rainbow, I believe is the name of that one. And this I actually bought from the store, started. I didn't start this one. But this is a banana pepper, and they're doing good. I took a couple handfuls of them home. My Egyptian spinach has now become a monster in here. You can see it's throwing off its pods. Look like little okras on there. So I will have more seed for next year. And you know, if you haven't eaten this, I tasted it. You know, there's no reason you can't stick that in a salad. It doesn't have any strong flavor at all, but it's good. It's got a good plain down the middle taste, and in a salad, I bet it's pretty good. My chives are standing up. They're doing okay. Okay, let me go across here. This is my one pinto bean that made it, turned into a big pile here. Once I cut that dadgum tomato out of there, that sun gold it's climbing. I've taken home a whole lot of these pods that are ready, and I just pretty much am letting them go all the way yellow and die, and then pick them off and take them home, and you can either eat the beans or grow them again. And I think I'm going to save them for growing, and later on, now that I know it's a pole bean, because I just bought a bag of pinto beans from my local grocery store and soaked them for about a half a day, and then I brought them out here and I planted 10, and I got 1 to go, and it's already given me way more than that in pods, and it's doing even better now than it has. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to build some kind of trellis or something so I can grow this stuff up. Maybe buy some cattle panel later when I get rich. But I will grow those beans and have my own beans that already know this ground, and I'll get a lot of pinto beans, and we eat lots of beans. I like beans, and just depends on how you cook them. I'm down here in Texas, so we eat them the first time, sometimes just as a side with my meal. You can use this if you make a bunch, which we always do. The second time you can use them when you make some cornbread, make some beans and cornbread and some fried taters. Man, that stuff's so good. And the third time you warm that bowl up, you can refry them in some grease and make Mexican food. And say, oh my gosh, y'all, beans are wonderful if you learn how to use them. So let me show you what else. The basil is really grown up. I've stopped picking the heads off, as you can see. It did its job. I was trying to keep most of the cooties off of my tomatoes at the time. I've picked most of the full green bean plants. I've saved these for my partner who works out here with me. I told him come through here, and just because it's getting too hot, both of us are old enough and had heat exhaustion and stuff. We can't mess around in here like we could when we were younger. So I told him just pick the whole dang bush and take them home where it's comfortable and pick those beans in the air conditioner. Now that looks terrible, I know, but I already have the transplant that's gonna go in here started, and they're coming up. We're gonna look at that in a minute, but I wanna show you how miserable looking. I mean, they were getting so diseased, y'all, smothering one another out. They're too tight in here. And I'm just, until I do get my transplants ready to go in, I'm allowing these stems to stay there. We'll see if something starts or not. I got a couple of Amish paste off of there. Some Jolene's. I'm really disappointed in the Jolene. Now the thing grows wonderful, makes pretty uniform tomatoes, just doesn't have any taste to me. I feel like I bought it at the store, and that's not worth it, you know what. The Better Boys are still going a little bit back in here. The beef steaks. So is the Celebrity. And all of those taste good. Okay, you can see my Carmen peppers. They've also getting so dang big, I can't keep the limbs up anymore. They're falling down. I probably, if I was wise, would stake it, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm too dang lazy. All right, so you can see I got some more hiding back in here amongst the tomatoes. And the 2 watermelon plants that I planted here have cascaded over. They've grown out here into this swamp. This area needs attention before I replant anything in here. And to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm gonna put in here yet. And so right now, I see there's some weeds. I need to get those weeds, but I've got some watermelon growing in here. And I do have a melon in there. I'm trying to, I had 2. One of them was kind of rotten on the end, so I picked it, but see if I can find him. Where you at, buddy? There he is. So you can see I got one in there. And that right now is probably about, I'm gonna say 10, 11 inches long. It's just getting going. So we'll see. On this side, I'm almost done with the pink Berkeley tie-dye, and I've molested, you can see, look at the leaves on these plants. It may help you understand the kind of heat that we're dealing with. I mean, it's just 100 plus every day. It's all I can do to stay out in it till 3 or 4 o'clock, and then I gotta get inside. I'm getting old. I can't do it like I used to could, but all the pink Berkeley tie-dyes are pretty well took down to nothing. You can see it's not like I did without. I've filled my freezer full again 2 times this year with tomatoes off of these bushes. These are the last of the Ananas Noir. And I've also canned 20 jars now, and I can do for sure that much more, maybe a little bit more than that. But I just consider this the end of the spring garden, and now I'm preparing for the fall. Some things will grow on through the summer, but the tomatoes really take a hit, and you'll see it when I get over there to the other part of the secret garden, which is doing much better as far as all the vine stuff's doing great. And I stopped the deer. I haven't seen the deer back in there, so let's go take a look at that. So I said I stopped the deer, but I do have 2 little trees started here that I've noticed him messing with. So let me show you real quick. These guys right here are not in a cage. Doesn't seem to want to mess with my fig too much. I imagine if I had figs, he'd tear it up, but I do see him nibbling off all my leaves on this guy. You can see where he's been chewing on it. And I'm not gonna sweat it. I'm kind of considering it an offering. I think the peach tree is strong enough that it's gonna come on through it. But he no longer can get in that big mess. So let's go take a look in there and I'll show y'all what's going on. All right. This is the only little crack I've got left, and I cheat and I slide this dadgum ladder in the way, and it just looks like you can't do anything. All right, so I got lots of blooms, lots and lots of blooms. I don't know that any will make. It's a Celebrity, and they seem to do the best around here for determinate type or hybrid type in my heat. And I'm gonna tell you, the reflection off the side of that tin at about probably 12 o'clock in the afternoon on, one year it got 123 degrees. So that kicks off and it bakes stuff, you know. But this is from my house. I'm gonna grow this up that dadgum building and help some of that reflection. This is wisteria, and these 2 are the trumpet vines. They don't look like much, but they'll be all right. They come along, I'll put some kind of trellis stuff up the side of this building and let it cover this building. It's all metal building, so I'm not worried about it ruining anything right now. All right, this little fig tree's doing okay. Pretty young, first year, so I ain't messing with it. Here's an okra that I had split off from the ones, and here's another that the deer were eating. So they're just now kind of starting to kick off and get going. Here are the ones that the deer eat. It's hard to see them, but they're coming back now, see? I finally got that dadgum thing out of there. But the deer chewed off all the limbs on them, they'd have been up another foot and a half. You can see the evidence right here. But all 4 of my okra are coming back and gonna be okay. As you can see, my watermelons here are doing nice. I got melons everywhere, all over the place in here, and they'll kind of help around the ground for the okra. I mean, I already have mulch and the black tarp underneath it, so I'm gonna be just fine, but they will shade it and keep it moist, a little bit of water I give. My cantaloupes doing okay as well. I had 1 or 2 back there. Don't know if I can see it. They were little, but they had begun. There we go. There's 1. You can see there's 1. So I got some cantaloupe coming too. All the stuff like this does good in this heat. Here's another cantaloupe. This is the Mexican squash. And I left this 1 leaf. I don't know why I left the 1 leaf. I guess to make sure I realized that was still a living vine, okay? I brought it over here. That's it, going up the dadgum fence. At my house, the thing is 25 to 30 foot long. They're unbelievable to me. And I'm hoping with it growing up this fence, see at the house, I just got it growing along the ground. I do not see a single squash still. They're very curious. I don't know. I got it from a friend, so I can't research. When I look up Mexican squash, I get a couple of different things, and they all look similar, but not exact. So it's something I'm just gonna have to figure out. I don't know. We'll see. It's bound to put something on sooner or later because it's so healthy. I'm just gonna wait it out. All right, yellow squash. It's doing okay over here. Picked a couple off the other day. You see I need to get in there and pull off some rotten ended ones there, but I mean, it's been fertilized for sure, or it looks like it, but I am seeing squash bugs beginning again. I don't know if you can see them. Let me see if I can get down in there a little closer. You see them, they're starting on it pretty good. And the truth is, guys, is that sometimes it's worth it to fight them, and sometimes it's not. And it's so damn hot here. It's not worth it to me right now. I'm gonna allow them to get theirs. I'm gonna get what I can get out of it, and when it's done, it's done. And I have not yellow squash, because yellow squash is good, but it's not an issue to grow it around here. And I get my fill pretty quick. And so I prefer the zucchini. It's just easier to do more things with. It tastes good. And so that's where I'm at. I'm replanting zucchini. Now that deer came through here and got that. He knocked out that one, you see. So I had 2 China Jade cucumbers there. These are the ones that have made it. And I got them, you can see the dadgum thing through the, I'm gonna have to go around the other side to get him off, I think. But you know, they get almost 2 foot long. I'm not kidding. They get so dang big. This is tiny, y'all. I mean it. I am not joking. And my wife and I are gonna try to make stackers, those hamburger deer pickles, and pickle them guys out of those things. Make regular pickles out of them, and they're wonderful in a cucumber salad. They have a cucumber flavor, but it's not over the top. It's not real stout. They don't seem to get bitter, and the seeds aren't bad until they're really, really big. So I mean, you can do really good. My zucchini's out here still doing okay, but them squash bugs are coming over here next, guarantee you. You can see I got it. Zucchini making. So this section here is finally coming alive. All right, and all these tomato plants. Now you can see I got this monstrosity here going. They are finally getting shaded a little bit, and my leaves are getting kind of back to normal. Everything looked like this guy before, and a couple of them died off and are looking rough. I need to come in here and cut them out, and a couple of them are making it through. And I'm not going to sweat it. I'm just going to let them go wild and get hairy in here, and we will see what happens with it. I'll surely end up with something before too long. These green beans, I might actually get some out of this little dude here now that deer isn't eating it. You can see perpetual spinach, as awful as that stuff looks. Okay, I need to come here and just trim it back down, but look at that. There still is new leaves trying. And the bugs are so bad this time of year in this heat. I've got a couple little strawberries. They're not gonna do anything down there. But I've made up my mind. I have so many runners back at home, a lot, and those plants are really healthy. I'm gonna get a container or two out here and fill it up with some dirt, and I'm gonna start some new strawberries in there and get me a little patch going. But I want something just dedicated just to them. I want it up off the ground because down on the ground it's hard to see them, and the dadgum snails and the pill bugs are always roly-polies. They're always eating that up before I can get to them half the time. So I'm trying to set it up right when I do it, and I'm gonna go from there. Now, on the other side of that fence, I had that bell pepper plant out here with this stuff, but it got too hot and it was burning up. It likes it better in the little bit of shade it's awarded here underneath this awning. So I've put it back here because I mean it was drooping, looked terrible, and I don't want it to be like that. This has been a good year for bell peppers this early on, and this one was started from seed. This isn't carried over from last year, so is the other one in the greenhouse. So that's pretty dadgum good. See, I am learning, I'm telling you. There's seasons to stuff, especially where I am here locally. We do have a long growing season, but ain't everything can grow in the middle of it. It's just too dadgum hot. So you gotta be wise and try to get your stuff in real early if you want a spring harvest. The earlier you can get it in, the better. At the same time, it just doesn't make sense to put it in so early that it's not gonna do anything, sit there and get stunted. So you gotta find that time. And I think I did it this year out at this greenhouse. But get it and you push everything as hard as you can, and you try by June to at least have as much as you can get. Because by June, by the middle of it for sure, you're gonna cook here. And it's not gonna let up until probably September. Now there's lots of stuff, like I say, all the viney stuff and the okra, that kind of things, zucchini, squash, they like that, but not tomatoes. So let's look at these transplants and I'll show you what I'm growing inside right now. Welcome to the transplant section here. All right, so got a bunch of stuff coming. You know, I got only one of these dadgum silver Yamato cream watermelons is coming. Every one of those has been planted with a seed, and I only had one that sprouted. So I'm not really impressed by that. On the other hand, look at the zucchini. It's coming. It's been in there for only like a day or two. This I've had planted probably for a week, and that's the only one that came. So that's probably all I'm gonna get out of it. And then as far as all of these little guys here, let me go around the table. See if I can get over here and I'll show you some of the varieties that's going here. All right, so let's see if I can get down there to that guy. That last one down there is the Black Beauty eggplant, and I got all of those guys, and they are up potted now because they were doing a little bit better. Dr. Witch's yellow. I've got a couple of them that are bigger that grew up, and I've put them in another pot. Okay, some big rainbows, Thornburns terracotta, and some Tabasco peppers. Now let me back out here. All right, so you see there ain't a whole lot in here, but it's because I've already picked out the stuff that was getting the biggest. And the reason I do that is because I don't know if you can tell, but these trays slump in the middle, okay? And so the middle stays swamped if I put water in there. And I'm having to do a lot of extra work here by hand with the spray bottle to keep it wet from the top, which I'd rather not do. But if I'm ever gonna get these to sprout and not rot, I have to let it dry out. So that's kind of where I'm at. These other up potted groups here, I got peppers and eggplant and tomatoes and all of it here, see? Those guys came out of here and here, okay? And so now I'm trying to do the dry out session here so I can get the rest of my stuff down the middle, and it looks like it's working. But I'm gonna have to water these. As you can see, look how droopy those little babies look. I feel kind of sorry for them. You know, that's the problem though about this being far away from me. I live in town. This is only about a mile out of town, but I'm busy in town too. And I grew all this lettuce because I had all these tomatoes and I want some salad. And I can't grow it outside. It'll go to seed in 5 seconds. But I put it in here like this, and I've been cutting out of there, and as I know I'm gonna make a salad or maybe taco, something where I need some lettuce, I just cut and come again. And it's easy enough to water them. These little containers are actually to put big potted plants in and water from the bottom. So to hold a little water and you don't make a mess. But I just cheated and filled them up with dirt, and I take a half-gallon jug, like a milk jug, and fill it up with water, and I pour 1 in a day, and it fills the underside of there, and they will eat that much in a day. Once it looks a little soaky, I back off, because lettuce can take it getting real wet like that. Now also up here have, let me see if I can zoom in down there. All right. Bloomsdale, Noble, and Viraflay spinach. And believe it or not, the Viraflay and the Noble are the ones that are popping up right now. So that's kind of surprising to me. But they will also go in this kind of container, and they're just gonna live here, and I'm gonna make my own salad greens down here under this table for now. That's basically where I'm at out here at the Secret Garden. I'm more in limbo. I've got melons all coming on strong. Squash and zucchini's doing okay. You may not see a bunch out there right now, but man, the cucumbers are doing wonderful. They're monsters. And as far as all my good stuff, like the tomatoes and things like that everybody likes to grow, it's just not time for it right now. So I'm in between. I'm in limbo right now. But everything is coming along, and I'm preparing. So we'll have a nice fall harvest, I believe. And y'all stick with me, and I'll give you an update at the house probably this afternoon. So we'll see y'all later.